Hi, and welcome to Punks on Film. My name is Lawrence, also known as a Punk with Toys. I'm here with my partner, Matthew. How are you doing?
Good evening. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. It's all in the reflexes.
So how is everyone doing? Let's see. We got four people. Two of them are probably myself and Matthew. We do see Payne is here. He's just stopping by to leave. A lot not feeling great today. So hopefully you feel a little bit better. You gotta get better within a week or so when I'm going to be on your show on Friday. So don't disappoint me. All right. I expect to go 4 hours. No, I don't. I will be on YouTube way too much that week. Uh, so quickly, I want to mention a few things because this is the last time that I will be on live before going into next week. I've actually talked to Matthew about some of this. So if you are interested, on Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be on Frostbite's channel, Frostbite Reproduction. Probably should have known it, but wasn't really thinking of talking about it. They're out of Australia. There's four of them, so it's 9 p.m. Sunday for them, so prime time for them. But I'm going to be on 7 a.m. So if you're up for some reason, catch it. If not, watch it on the replay. And then we have the Monday show, which I know you guys will all be there. And then next Thursday, so this is where we're going to be doing a little changing. So next Thursday, I'm going to be on A Punk with Toys, and it's nice to see her. And I talked about doing this on my show before, is I'm going to be doing another 2-hour stream, 10 p.m. Eastern to 12. Hello, Allison. So I talked about it already, that I want to talk to people in the community, not just other YouTubers and not people in the industry, but I want people to get to know other people that are part of our community, whether it be on my Instagram, just to make comments on YouTube, and of course the people in the chat. So Allison is going to be the first guest next Thursday, and then Friday I'm going to be on Payne's channel. So basically I'm going to be on YouTube all next week. I'm going to be like Retro J, I guess, just on all the time. So what we are going to be doing is we're going to try starting next episode, which is in 2 weeks, not simulcasting this on A Punk with Toys. It's just going to switch over to Punks on Film. I'll still promote it here. Still going to do the polls here because there's just so many more people. And we're going to see if we can get people to start shifting over there to watch it so we can grow that channel. If we notice that the numbers aren't doing that well, we'll just simulcast it again until it finally grows. I talked to Matthew, we're going to try and do some other stuff that isn't just live, just to get it out there. So, again, Matthew, if you let me talk, I won't shut up. All right? But anyway, that's kind of like the itinerary for next week. I didn't even plan on mentioning it. But, again, I got put in front of a camera, and next thing I know, I'm talking. So, but so for the next movie, it looks like Mad Max, unless we have a big surge before the end of the show. Mad Max is going to be the movie that we're going to watch. 3 weeks in a row, you guys are making me buy a movie.
Can't believe you don't have that one either, man. Come on.
I don't think I've ever sat through a whole Mad Max.
Oh, man.
And this is the problem. This is Mad Max 2.
Yep.
So do I need to see Mad Max 1?
Not necessarily. You can jump into the second one and feel right at home. The first one is a very different movie. It's a little bit slower paced compared to this one.
Where he is a cop, right?
Yes. Yeah. He's a police officer in Australia, and he's got dealing with this biker gang right before the apocalypse happens, and the apocalypse basically happens at the end of the movie.
Okay, I have seen that one. It's been a long time. So I have seen that one.
So the bad guy in that movie is Toe Cutter, who is Immortan Joe in the last one that they did.
Okay, now I've seen the last one. I saw the one with Bane in it.
Yeah, yeah, and so the big bad guy in the white makeup and all that, the breather mask and all that stuff. That's Toe Cutter from the very first Road Warrior.
Okay, I did not know that. So I have seen that, and then I also thought, yes.
Remember the guy I showed you with big nipples?
Okay, I'm literally on.
Wait, you need to know this stuff.
I don't.
Look, that was him when I showed you him.
Yes.
This is him today.
Yeah, he's on steroids.
They got bigger.
Holy shit.
He's
showing me a
big
picture.
as his boobs.
Oh my, yeah, that is a dude on steroids. Wow. Who is that? Anyway.
I don't know, it's a random dude.
Why do you have random dudes a picture?
Because it's on Snapchat, Dad. Don't you ever just look through it?
Oh, it's something on Snapchat. But she showed me this kid, and he's probably a teenager. And you could just, after you work out so much, you can tell when someone is engulfed. And I'm like, that guy's on steroids. But you point out how big his nipples were. And she comes in now and shows me, it's like, they're bigger, and they're like twice.
He was zoomed in on it.
Okay, all right, I'm out of here. Go, leave. Let the dog out. All right, guys. Yeah. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you have kids. They just don't care.
That was interesting.
So let's say hi to PNC. He's an iron here.
Yep. JR dropped by to say hi.
Yep. And JR dropped what is $2? I don't.
Yep. He just dropped $2. Saying hi.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's weird. It doesn't
show that in the action figure fund.
Yeah, it doesn't show it as a super chat. It's weird. It's like it's there, but I thought it did something else. I think it's always weird when someone and I did it too. You actually said something to me. I dropped a super chat. I'm like, it didn't let me put in a comment. And you're like, you're new to this? I'm like, man, I've done it before, but it's been like 2 or 3 times that I've dropped super chats, and it just sends it. I'm like, where's my message?
So are you watching anything good these days?
No, I'm not. I'm still trying to get through Better Call Saul. I'm at the end of it, and I just got really bored.
Yeah,
that sounds awful, but I got bored because it was like once you I don't know if everyone's seen it already, but once you get to the end where it's like it's in all in black and white, so it's the present, and he's starting to run scams. Like it's all over. Like, and it's like, all right, I like the lead up to it, and you have to end it somehow, right? I mean,
yeah. I've been wanting to see Ted Lasso. Apparently, they just got done with their final episode.
Yeah, I don't have Apple TV, but I watched season 1, which was so good. Like, I mean, that show is honestly such a good show. Because it's done so much like how an American would be going over there. But like his philosophy in that, just like, I'm just teaching you I'm just coaching you. You know, I'll have the other people teach you to do what you need to do. It's the same as regular football. You know, it's the motivation. And it's like the way he does it, I think is absolutely wonderful. I think I think that show's done wonderful. I just have to go get Apple TV.
So we watched Still, Air, and Quantum Mania recently. I fell asleep through Quantum Mania, but Still was amazing, and Air was also very cool.
Wait, what is Still again?
So Still is the Michael J. Fox documentary, essentially.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Quantum Mania, but I like all the Marvel movies. I just shut my mind off and I go watch them. I know you look at it from a different critical point. We talked about Air. I think Air was really good. I can't wait till LeBron James does his to say how good he is. Of course, he'll produce it and then he'll star in it himself. I
haven't seen anything, and I'm not really looking forward to anything that's coming up. They have a Fathom event near us where they're playing Raiders of the Lost Ark, and we were really going to try and go see that, but it falls on my anniversary, and it's late in the evening, so we'll be busy.
Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse 2 comes out. So
yeah.
I think we're gonna go see that this weekend. And then I know there's other stuff coming out. I mean,
So I haven't seen it, but I really want to see Sisu. I still want to see that one.
that's the one with the German killer, right?
Yeah.
We saw the preview. We saw the preview, I believe, when we saw Quantumania, and I'm like, that is my type of film.
It's made by the guys who made John Wick. So same people that made John Wick. They even put it on the poster because he's got a dog in there. It says the dog survives. So they put that on the poster for you.
I didn't see that.
And so basically the guy runs around. He finds some gold and has to get it back to the bank. And he's got some evil guys from 1940s Germany hurting people. And he goes and slaughters them all. And apparently he doesn't say but a couple of words the whole movie. He's just killing bad guys.
Oh, so it's kind of like issue 21 of G.I. Joe.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
And I'm sure it'll be better than all the G.I. Joe movies. So anyway, yeah, no, the only thing I started watching, I saw the first 2 episodes of Mayans because I watched it. I watched all of Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
But Mayans to me doesn't. It doesn't have the same feel. I mean, Sons of Anarchy, you had such a love for those characters. I don't know if you watched it or not. And clearly, it's the same concept. Jax, Sons of Anarchy, you fall in love with him. But in Mayans, you start off really liking Easy, and then within, by the 3rd season, you're like, you're just a piece of shit.
Right.
You started off as this lovable guy, and maybe that's what he's trying for. I really, really, hope so. But yeah, it's yeah. But again, you want to get to the end. I mean, this is the final season, so it's like let's just get to the end. But you're really seeing a downfall for sure. Oh, let's see. PNC says the show Fubar is great. Lots of Army movie references. All right, you know what? That is one that I do want to see. I've just kind of been waiting, so I'm not it's not 11 o'clock and I'm ready to pass out. Allison says those Joe movies are terrible.
Hey, I just saw that the extended action cut of Retaliation is coming to Apple TV. So if you have that is the best version of that movie, and I think it's far better than the theatrical. But
see, I think Retaliation was decent, but yeah, Handsome Head Injury. I think you chimed in. I was talking about Mayans, where, like I said, if you watch Sons of Anarchy, obviously Mayans is the extension of it. But the biggest thing about Mayans that I don't like, it's culminating to where there's a war between Sons of Anarchy and Mayans. And the problem is all the guys from the Sons that they're fighting with are not the people from Charming. So it's just another charter that I have no connection to. And it's like, all right, well, we've seen some of the guys from Sons of Anarchy. We know that that they still have their own charter, but these ones are completely different. And it's like, I have no connection to any of them. And the Mayans, unfortunately, I think, again, they made Easy this lovable character to begin with. And he goes down the opposite path that Jax was. And Jax, he kills his mom and kills his stepdad, and his mom didn't kill his wife. So anyway, all right. So let's get into the movie. So I had mentioned about a line that I thought that was in here, and it was because I was getting Showdown in Little Tokyo mixed up with Big Trouble in Little China, and it turned out that I'd never seen Big Trouble in Little China. I thought that I had seen it, but I was completely wrong. So I've had to watch it twice. I can say it's not my favorite movie. There are a lot of quips, but maybe it's just knowing that I'm under this pressure to see it here. Handsome Head Injury. Spoilers, never seen them. You never seen Sons of Anarchy? Well, it's been over for like 8 or 9 years. So, um, sorry, I didn't give anything away from from my ends. Just a easy. I mean, if you may like easy, I just don't like easy. You know, the guy's easy on the eyes. Even as a heterosexual man, I can tell you he's a damn good-looking guy. All right. All right. So bear with us. Again, some of these pictures it's hard to come by pictures. You'd think it'd be easy, but some of these old movies, and then when you get all the brawls, they really start to get mixed up. And what I really found was the first brawl was really the only way to find some stuff. It didn't seem like there was very much inside. So I'm going to let you lead more. You tend to have way better notes than I do. I have all these notes, but I do have to say, so here's exactly what is right here next to me. The $5 movie on Amazon. Like, I ordered the DVD and someone must have been like, people still buy DVDs? So
I love it.
The one thing I do like is the movie gets right into it, which there's none of that like long drawn out.
I thought the storytelling in this was concise to the point. They give you the information when you need it. You're the POV. Jack Burton is the POV character. He's the bumbling idiot who does everything wrong and still comes out ahead in the end. I mean, he fails at everything that he does. He's wrong about everything. He gets everything messed up, but in the end, he does, the winning thing, the winning technique or whatever. He fumbles his way into it all.
And it was comical. He's like, Jack Burton is a hero. Like, we all owe him. Like, the other guy was the one that was doing he became like super gymnast. He was beating I don't think they needed Jack Burton, but
no, Gracie Law and Wang did most of the heavy lifting, and then Egg Shen.
Gracie Law. We'll get into that. So the
Pork Chop Express. Gotta love it. As he's rattling on in his 1980s version of YouTube commentator, going down the highway, just rambling on about nonsense.
Driving in rain at night with sunglasses on.
Of course, I only drive as fast as I can see.
So I gotta say, this must have been one hell of a sandwich because he was just mowing the hell out of it. And I'm just sitting there like, I need to go to Subway. But yeah, it's interesting. I hope truck drivers are a little bit safer than this guy. But then again, I've seen
not a very safe truck driver.
But hey, he
especially at the end of the movie when he's swigging his bottle of whiskey while he's driving.
It's kind of funny when you watch some of these older movies and you realize how much drinking and driving there actually was.
Oh yeah.
So here he is once again, kind of looking. This is a better picture. I was so happy because I couldn't find a picture of him eating it, and then at the end, I was like, "Oh my god, I did that!"
Yeah. Going back for just a second, the lawyer at the beginning, that's the Deep Throat guy from X-Files.
Oh yeah, it is. Okay, yeah. So we get Wang, right?
Wang, yep.
I did mention to Matthew over the weekend, like, we gotta stop picking out so many stereotypical movies.
And then my thing was, you picked the genre, man. You said obscure movies from the 80s, maybe 90s, right? I mean, come on.
I just didn't realize that so many of them were just so, like, stereotypical and kind of racist without being racist. The racial stereotypes. But there's a lot of China people in here, so...
A lot of very well-known and recognizable Chinese people in this
Yes.
movie that have been in so many movies. It's a
Very,
great
very
cast.
true. There were a lot of like faces that you recognize that are still doing, still doing movies and everything. So,
Yep.
So he has his, the dominoes match and ends up winning. And Wayne can't. He doesn't have the money, so he comes up with the Karate Kid trick. The Karate Kid trick. Only he's gonna chop it in half. And
he just pulls a meat cleaver out of nowhere. Hey, I got this meat cleaver here. Let me chop this bottle in half.
I didn't even done.
Just carries random meat cleavers. I mean, it goes into later on when you're talking about all the gang members and they're all carrying meat cleavers and stuff.
The gang. Listen, I already mentioned the gang members. Like when we get to that, they all have all different types of weapons.
Yep.
Like some of them have Tommy guns. So he pulls out the meat cleaver. He gives them a different bottle. So it's not a trick bottle.
Well, okay. I just before we get to that, real quick, just going back to the lawyer scene with Egg Shen, they kind of set up the thing that magic is real, and you don't believe, and then he shows them the hands like you showed there, basically setting the tone for the movie, saying, "Hey, there's some otherworldly stuff going on in this film." And so that plays into later. So they're setting the stage. And again, it goes back to storytelling. It's quick, it's concise, and it brings you into the film. And then we get to, this whole scene here where he's trying to focus his chi and smash the bottle with a knife.
He's cutting it in half.
Yep.
Like I think we saw Storm Shadow do this before. So he does he gets hit, he gets the reflexes. And now this is obviously something that will lead later on in the movie.
Well, he says his catchphrase. It's all in the reflexes.
Yes, all in the reflexes. And again, this is something that's going to lead in to the, later on in the movie. And then
nothing or double.
Yeah, so he basically says, I have it back. And he said, just follow me. He's like, no, why don't you just get my truck? So he changed, like, listen.
And you got to think about this debt, okay? So he's a truck driver driving into town, making all this money or whatever, and it's $1,148, double or nothing. So it's double that. So it's almost $2,300 that he owes him, and that's big money.
Especially back for what, early 80s?
Yeah,
80s?
Yeah.
That's big money now.
Well, yeah.
I think some people just spent that much on bats today.
I was gonna say that's 2 HasLabs, right?
I don't want to talk about that. So they end up going to the airport because he's got to pick up the girl that he knew from when he was younger.
His fiance.
It's his fiance. And Jack is just a whore. He in the truck, he makes a comment about how he's had all kinds of women, but never a Chinese one. Which is like, oh my God, that was one of those things where you're like, hey, you're in Chinatown, so like, how hard could it have been, right?
Right.
Cobweb just jumped in and says, able to stop by. I love this movie so much as a kid. Got to rewatch it.
It's awesome. I love the banter in this movie. The quick-witted line deliveries back and forth between people, and it shows a sharp wit, and the writing, just the back and forth is awesome. About the I don't have it and all that stuff, convincing him to go with him, and just the way they play it all off is really
another
awesome.
thing that I did like is that even though Jack is clearly the main character, Wayne is not just like his sidekick.
No,
he's just as important, probably more important when it comes to fighting.
Yes.
But his story, he does have a very good story with it.
Well, he's the only one that knows what's going on.
So Jack obviously notices mannequin.
Well, and he starts flirting with her, and then the Lords of Death kind of bump into him,
Hold on one second.
causing a kerfuffle. And
All
then
right, she's coming to get you, buddy. Yeah, so he goes over there, and she pretty much just shoots him down.
Yep.
I mean-
well, and this is also the first time that because Wang brings up Miao Yin has green eyes, and so
Yeah.
it's the first time the green eyes thing is brought up.
Which really doesn't even get addressed till later on in the movie.
Well, it's also brought up because when Jack sees her, he notices that she has green eyes, and says, how can you see him from there? You know, and then he goes over and says, yeah, she does have green eyes. So you have two girls with green eyes.
But she pretty much tells him he smells like an alcoholic. And she wants to have nothing to do with him. You know?
Yep.
Something.
There she is, the racial stereotype non-Asian person playing an Asian person.
There's a lot of non-Asian people playing Asian people in this.
Well, most of them
In the
are
fight
background.
scenes.
Yeah.
I pointed. I did point that out.
There's some big heavy white dudes in there. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Yeah, she steps out. The Lords of Death start going towards her. Jack steps in, and we get butterfly knives because that's not a stereotype.
I have pictures of them. So
yeah, they are.
all right, so
Lords of Death.
I don't know if the glasses, the slit glasses, were supposed to be because they have slanted eyes or what.
No, Rocksteady wore 'em, man. Come on. I mean, Bebop wore 'em,
yeah,
right? I mean, it was a thing in the '80s to have those glasses with the little things on it. You know what they actually come from? They come from sun blinders. So if you're out in the Arctic and you go outside, you actually have completely black glasses with little slits in them, so that
really?
you're not blinded. You're not blinded by the reflection from the snow coming in at you. So it was something you'd wear, and that.
or you wear in Chinatown.
Or you wear them in 1980s Punkland.
Which has an airport.
and now think about this too. I mean, this is a total flashback retro, right? I mean, you could just walk up to the gate in the airports and everybody's smoking and drinking right at the gate. Can't do that anymore.
Man, those are just. Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. You've never seen snow before. I mean, are you honest? I know you're in Arizona.
It snows in parts of Arizona.
Flagstaff.
Yeah, Flagstaff gets snow.
But have you really never seen snow before? That is. I'm always amazed when someone says they've never been to Canada. I'm like, Wendy, it's right there. Canada is literally closer than Ohio to me. I mean, it is that close, but
I've been to the Soviet Union, but I haven't been to Canada. Sorry.
Well, he's probably going to say the same thing. You've never been to Mexico? Yeah, I don't go anywhere.
Been to Japan, but not Mexico. Puerto Rico, but not Mexico.
Listen, when you're older, snow is nice to watch from afar. When you're older, you're like, my knees hurt.
You've seen slush. Okay, I understand that.
Yeah, when snow falls, it's really nice. All right, but once it starts to warm and it becomes muddy slush, yeah, it's. So here's another picture of them because they made me laugh.
They're such stereotypical punks, right? Wearing sunglasses all the time.
So they pretty much go after him. So there's a fight scene in the airport with no
it's
security.
more of a little scuffle. They grab Gracie and they take off.
Now I found this really interesting when they grabbed Wang's girlfriend. She was running with them. Like, why wouldn't you just not run?
Right.
She was literally running with them. Like, you wouldn't have to run, or you wouldn't be with them if you weren't running. But and then she just got in the back of the TA. Like, I'll just lay down here.
That was awesome. That scene that was hilarious to me. That camera angle and everything. But hey, Jack's got the hero line here. Son of a bitch must pay.
Also, I like how him and Wayne sat there directly in front of the car till he finally pushes them out, like right before they run him over.
Yeah, Wang had to save his life. Yeah, that's the first time Wang saves his life.
No, I thought Jack saved Wayne's life.
Uh,
Jack pushes him out of the way.
oh yeah, Jack's the hero.
But again, like, I'm sorry, if a car is coming at me, I'm probably gonna move.
Probably gonna move.
So they go chasing him. I don't know if this is the part. This is when you see the tour bus. Now I don't remember if I couldn't find the tour bus because they kind of run the tour bus off the road when he's chasing him in a semi. And I'm sure a semi driving through Little China would be just as fast as a Trans Am.
Right? Yeah, in that crowded of a space. Yeah, I'm sure. Here's where we get introduced to Egg Shen, though. I mean, he's just rambling on. He's a tour guide.
Yep.
Got that crappy old bus, but he's giving people a tour of old Chinatown.
So as they're chasing him again, how they kept up with the TA, I don't know. And then he just tells them, "I'm sorry, go on."
Yeah, Jack tries to run down the tour bus real quick.
Yep. And then he says, "Turn right." No, right here. He just turns,
you're gonna turn a semi in a little town like that fast.
And as I'm watching, I'm like, "You're not getting that semi through there," but he does.
And if you notice, they changed it. I mean, the whole scene dynamic changes as you get onto a set, but you realize you've just entered another world by entering down this alleyway. Welcome to the Twilight Zone.
And you are you are absolutely correct. It was like a completely different world. Like when they drove through it, it's like everything changed because all of a sudden, like, the alley's bigger. He tries to ask the one lady there if they've seen someone, right? And they just shut it.
She throws her knife down on the chicken and then walks inside. Yes.
And then you have
a funeral scene.
Yes. Why were they just walking through the alley?
Well, funeral progression, right? So you go through the neighborhoods that you lived in. It's a traditional thing. You get a bunch of people and you mourn the loss of someone who died, and you walk through the streets of town, getting everybody to, remember that person.
Okay, so that's not how mine was, but or mine will be.
It's a cultural thing to a degree.
Okay. Completely off topic. Last year or the year before, we're at this skate park out in Ypsilanti, right? You guys don't know where Ypsilanti is, but we're at the skate park, right? And it's in it's at a big park, but it's right next to the road. So here we are, we're just skating, and then we see this funeral procession come through, and they're hanging out the windows, hanging out the sunroofs, but I mean, people literally hanging as far out the window as possible. And I'm like, man, this funeral must be so good that they just want to end up being with the guy. So when they fall out, like, and it was long, and they're honking at us, and we're like, what the hell is going on here? So I guess I understand what you are saying.
Well, and we have funeral processions. You think of when a dignitary or president or somebody else dies, you have a big funeral procession from one place to another.
That is very true. I guess it just seemed odd. So I don't have the good guys, but they're coming down here. And that's when he asks what's going on. And
the yellow turbans, for lack of a better term, they're the yellow turbans.
Okay. He explains it, and then all of a sudden, these guys just start walking around the semi.
The red turbans, the Wing Kong.
Now, this is what we were talking about. Now, first off, I gotta say, the Asian roadblock is awesome.
Yes.
He has 6 shooters.
He's a famous Chinese stuntman as well. So he's a big kung fu wushu kind of guy, and so is the one bald guy with the goatee. That
right
guy's
on
been
the
in like
truck.
everything.
Yes.
What's that? Yeah.
But it's hilarious because it's like they have a Tommy gun. He has 6 shooters. They have meat cleavers. There was an AK-47. All kinds of weapons. And then conversely, you look at the other side, they had just as many awkward weapons too. Who doesn't carry their weapons during their funeral procession, right?
Right, of course. I mean, come on. You always got to be armed in a town like this.
So let's see. Eric Thurman says Chinatown still looks like that. I'll take your word for it. Daredevil Dave, sup suckers. Nice to see you join us. Bruce jumps in. Hi, great movie. B. Riviera, terrible fucking movie. I love it. All right.
It's so great. It's got so many one-liners, quick wits. Man, it's awesome. I love it.
And PNC says he wants my coffee made out of bacon. Well, that's a waste of bacon. All right. No one can eat it. All right. So I found a lot of battle scenes here. I think this one's out of order.
Yeah, because what's his name? Al Long, the Chinese stuntman, has been in everything. He kind of heads off the thing as the lead red turban Wing Kong guy. Hey, there's the Chang Sings.
Yes.
Or Sing.
So they just attack. I know where they all came with these weapons. I don't know. I was literally waiting because, like I said, I'd never seen it before. I was waiting for someone to come out of the casket, like it was all a setup.
Well, it might have been because some of those weapons came right off the coffin. If you look real closely,
yes.
they were part of the pieces of the coffin that they took off, and they became weapons for him.
But I think it's safe to say that they were built into the coffin just in case you run into
another gang, a rival gang, yeah.
A rival gang during a funeral.
Hey.
So this is the guy you were talking about. I can't tell you one thing he's been in, but I know I've seen him in 1,000 things.
Oh, he's been in everything. He's been in Batman movies. He's been in Jet Li movies, and if there's a battle in Chinatown, this guy is in it.
That's not stereotyping. That's not not typecasting.
And the storms arrive.
So the lampshade gang, as I refer to them, just
thunder, rain, and lightning.
Yeah, they just come in out of nowhere. Now it really seems that it takes Jack a long time to understand like there are mystical things going on. But
hey, he's a little slow.
Yes, that's so these guys just come down. Now, then all the gangs seem to kind of like.
Ah, that's right. Yeah. He was in Die Hard also.
Oh yeah, yes. Okay, so that now I know why I saw him.
And Genghis Kong is Bill and Ted.
I've never seen Bill and Ted.
Dude,
not even a second of it.
Where are you from? Who are you?
I've never really watched Saturday Night Live, so.
What does that have to do with Bill and Ted?
I'm just saying, like that type of genre, I never really watched.
The two greatest time travel movies of all time are The Future and Bill and Ted.
I wouldn't know because I've never seen it. Quickly here, Allison says, it's hard to find something enjoyable in any John Carpenter movie from the 80s, no matter how bad.
Yeah, no, John Carpenter kicked ass in the 80s.
So these guys show up, and the middle guy, I refer to him as the fake Bolo Young, because he's pretty much an imitation of Bolo Young.
Thunder, yes, Thunder.
Yes. So he pulls out his knives, which it was nice to see because I've seen other action figures come with these knives, but I've never seen them like in a movie that I can think of.
Yeah, they're actually called butterfly knives. So not to
Okay.
be confused with the other butterfly knife we saw earlier at the airport.
But then the other weapons come out. And you get the helicopter propellers.
yeah.
Um,
Yep, that was Rain.
but my favorite was the two back scratchers.
No, yeah, Rain had the back scratchers. Lightning had the fidget spinners on his fingers.
We've all had that itch where we're like, "Where's the back?" A matter of fact, we were shopping a couple months ago, and she's grabbed this back scratcher that extends. I'm like, "How much is that?" She's like, $4. I'm like, "Buy it." I said, "What?" I'm like, "I need it in my car for work. I can't tell you how many times my back is. I use that thing so damn much." I see this. I'm like, "This is my favorite guy ever." So
there we go.
Yeah. their thing, like they pull the knife out, and then they make it Jedi into their hand, right? Because they're holding it, and then it like Jedi's into their hand, and then they do like a flip toss.
Let's flip through the air and toss the knife because that's going to get it more rotational momentum, right? I mean, come on, it's going to increase the force, right?
Now, what are these called?
Oh, those are like honestly, they look like Australian machete, Outback machete type of things.
Okay. Oh, you know what?
I don't know their exact name.
They look like Outback's little machete thing.
Yeah.
So here,
I love that weapon too. That's a good one.
Yeah, that looks awesome. Honestly, it really does. Like, but this is the fake Bolo Young. But then we see
Coup Kerns. I can't read that exactly. Coup Kerns. Coup Chris. That's what they are. Coup Chris.
Okay.
That's the name of the knife.
So then we get what's his name? I have it written down somewhere.
Oh, come on, Lo Pan, man.
Lo Pan.
That's James Wong.
Yes, this guy I have seen in so much stuff.
He has voiced so many characters. He's been in so many movies since the 70s. He's been kicking butt.
And he has not aged a day. He just looks the same. He looked old back then. Awesome.
Yeah.
He looked old back then. But you really
well, to be fair, there's some amazing makeup in this movie. Stan Winston was involved with a lot of the makeup in this movie, and his makeup is phenomenal. Any project that he's on.
And he has his amazing coke nail.
Oh yeah. His
two of them.
His bladed pinky. Yeah.
But you don't realize that he's not real yet. Now, I did not understand when Jack got out to run, the whole blinding him. Did I miss something with that? Like, he blinds him with the light.
Yep.
Wayne tells him not to look. But was there a purpose for that, or did I just miss out on something?
Well, it's to blind him, to distract him so that they could capture them or, I don't know, steal his truck. You know, I mean, he let him run him over, so maybe he just wanted to blind him because he said, "You fucking ran me over. Let me blind you."
But they really serve no purpose for them, you know?
Well, not that we saw. I mean, he's trying to they're trying to introduce, story-wise, they're trying to introduce the mystical elements piece by piece. So this guy, he's got power.
Yeah.
Now we know that.
So the getaway, I believe this is the right part, right? They get back to the house, and all of a sudden,
the restaurant.
Everyone shows up there.
Yep, they go back to the restaurant.
And I love the way that.
Well, so first they run to the Yellow Turban hideout, and they meet some people. Blue jeans, tank top. He switches clothes as they're trying to run away from all these guys. So they go through this whole process of running away with the Yellow Turbans, and then they meet up at the restaurant. And Jack is on the phone with his insurance company. trying to verify his policy. Man,
He
we've
paid
all been there, haven't we?
$6,000 in premium a year.
Yeah. Can you
Which
imagine?
is a lot of money back then.
Back then, yeah. But I mean, Jesus, $6,000 for an insurance premium on his truck, and they're like, we don't show any record of you having a policy with us, sir. And that's when Uncle Chu says China is here.
Yes. But she
talk
never
about
really
the Chang Sing and Wing Kong.
Yeah, it's like he never understands like that whole thing, you know. What does that mean? What does that mean? But
well, and then Jack brings up Lo Pan, and that's when Uncle Chu starts freaking out. Lo Pan, oh
yes.
shit.
And then Gracie Law comes in and introduces herself as
Gracie Law. Her acting is so bad in some of these scenes.
Which normally, like when I walk into someone's house now, I'm like, punk with toys. But he's wearing this like nightgown or whatever it was. That just.
Well, I also love the conversation that he's having. That abandon your truck. So you abandon your truck, abandon like hell. We're talking about the Lords of Death and Lo Pan and what he's doing around town. Gracie Law.
Yeah, so that was the other thing, that when they get out and they run from the truck, they just happen to run into the Lords of Death.
Yep.
But then later on, you find out they're actually working with them.
Right.
But they're just, losers. It's pretty much what they call them.
And then we talk about the girls that get taken are generally taken to the White Tiger.
Yes.
A Jeffrey Epstein establishment.
Wouldn't that be? Oh no, I don't know. They weren't all boys, were they?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And then, so they decide to go into the White Tiger, and he says, "If we're not back by dawn, call the press."
Hey, that goes back to Snake Plissken. I mean, that goes back to the Thing. I mean, he always plays that kind of character. Always goes back to the president. And this is also where Gracie finds her friend too, right? The reporter.
Yes. Yeah. So did the report? I'm trying to think of when she showed up, but she
not just yet, because we got to see Jack do his John routine.
Yeah. So I have to say this: he does a marvelous job of acting like he can't act in this whole scene. I mean, as crazy and just goofy of a movie as this is, he does such a good job of acting like he can't act.
Right.
Like he's a sore thumb. He's asking questions that any idiot would know you wouldn't just ask. And then he's like, "Do you have one with green eyes?"
Yep.
But he looks like such a tool. I absolutely love it.
He knows it. He did it on purpose. I mean, it's clearly choices that were made to play this character. And what's funny about this whole thing is this is the first time we see it, but it happens like 3 times else in the movie where he just goes into these role-playing moments. And you're like, man, this guy has tried to scam so many people out of so much stuff.
And he's trying to sleep with so many women.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
She's been in stuff, too. I couldn't tell you what she's been in, but I swear I've seen her in things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
So
she has. The madam, yeah.
Yeah, so she comes walking out. This when he talks to her, asks, about... And then he says, like, one with green eyes, which obviously kind of
Chinese girls don't come with green eyes.
Yes. So she takes him up to a girl. I couldn't find any pictures. She obviously goes and calls someone, right?
Yeah.
She goes and calls them. Then they just come smashing through the roof.
This is where Gracie meets her friend while he's in there, while he's doing this part of it.
Yeah.
And so Margot shows up as the reporter that's trying to get her big break. And so we get introduced to her for a second as Gracie steps out of one car in the rain to go visit the other little cheap gremlin that pulls up.
The gremlin. Oh my gosh. But they come smashing through the wall, and she comes running through the wall, or gets thrown through the wall, it's just hilarious because it's like she went and called them. She shouldn't be like shocked that they're there,
Well, she may not have known that the storms were coming to get her. She might have thought that the Wing Kong were going to come do it, but no, the storm showed up.
So you're gonna have to fill me in on some stuff because again, this is where you start having issues with finding pictures.
Yeah.
So I couldn't find anything where they walk in with the phone.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Where they walk in with the phone and just kind of walk right by security, who we found out later all carry AK-47s.
All kinds of weapons there for sure. Well, yeah. So they get ready to, they get suited up, and Jack's got this plan, and they're like, "Are you think it's going to work? Are you ready, Jack?" He says, "I was born ready." And then you just walk in, and the squirrel's in the central box, in the central junction box, and show us where that is. We're going to head right down to it, and they just keep on walking by the security guards because that would happen.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Listen, I was actually walking into a place today to work on a copier. Now they didn't have security and stuff, but I'm just like, I walked right in. No one says a word to me. Like, I just walk in. It's not a place I go to all the time. I walk upstairs and go work on the machine, and no one says a damn word to me. So it's not overly shocking that you can walk. Now, with that much security, you would think probably not, but
if they have hired security with automatic weapons, you'd think that they might stop anybody trying to get in and find out who they are first. But apparently, just let them walk.
But he had a phone, and they were looking for squirrels.
Yeah, a phone. Not a tool bag. Not a name tag. Just a phone.
What else do you need? I mean,
I've got a phone. I work on phones. Can't you see I work on phones?
So they find the elevator. It only goes down. No one's figuring out this is a trap yet. And they get down.
I said, he's not very bright.
But Wayne tends to be Wayne shows that he's way brighter than what you saw at the beginning of the movie.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So they go down, the water starts filling up, and he says, "It's salt water."
Yep.
I don't know what that meant.
Well, it comes into play later when they're in the sewers and stuff near the end of the movie.
Yes.
Because the fact that it's not fresh water means that it's not city water. It's not water that's just coming in.
Yeah.
That they're flooding it with. It's coming from the ocean directly.
Okay. So they open it underwater, which I can only imagine how hard it is to open something underwater while you're holding your breath.
But before that happens, you've got Egg Shen talking about Buddhist Confucianism and Taoism and alchemy and sorcery and stuff. Obeying the positive, negative, and Lopan.
Yeah, whether people
he's giving backstory to what's going on a little bit.
Yeah, like I said, you mentioned that they do a really good job of explaining what's going on. I don't think you're not left thinking like they over-explain stuff, but they're explaining things where you wouldn't be, like you might be like, how does this mean? Like, and even so, you're still kind of confused.
Yeah.
So
well,
they
that's
swim
the
for
point
it.
of the POV character. Yeah.
So they swim for it, and they go by all these dead bodies that are chained for some reason. I didn't understand why some of them are chained, but they were able to just freely swim through it.
Well, the bodies are chained there because this is the hell of the upside down sinners.
Okay.
Wang says that in a minute because he says this is we just swam through the hell of upside down sinners.
But no one seems fazed by this. Like,
well, to be fair, Jack's like, what the hell is this shit?
Yeah, okay. Well, I know, but like, at what point do you just like, you know what? I don't need my truck. I'm out of here.
He still wants his truck back.
Yeah,
he doesn't care about the money now. He just wants his truck back.
I'd leave my USS flag that I had from my childhood if I made it back after the wheelchair. So they end up getting captured and put in wheelchairs, which at first I kind of laughed, but then I realized like it's actually pretty smart. Then they can wheel them around wherever they need to go without without unstrapping them. Everyone knows. The handsome head injury says everyone knows about the hell of upside down sinners. I apologize. I did not.
And this is also where we meet Old Man Lopan, which is again Winston, some of his best old age makeup besides Eddie Murphy's Coming to America. This is probably the best old age makeup I've seen in a long time. Old Man Lopan.
It is really good. And I was eating pizza at the time, which did not help.
Was it just cheese pizza, or did it have other stuff too?
Because that looks like cheese pizza. It had pepperoni on it.
Okay, all right.
But like the red in the face was just really disgusting.
Yes.
But it is a really good job because you can see him, but you can also like when you know who it is, you're like, that does look like him.
Yeah.
But you find out that he's extremely old, and the one that you keep seeing is just a hologram of some sort.
It's a ghost. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like not a truck, a girl with green eyes.
And obviously Wang understands it, where Jack this is where he's finally starting to believe that something is fucked up. He's swum by dead bodies. He's run through this guy. He's seen people come out. So they end up wheeling him up here, which I gotta say, during this part when they wheeled them to this room, I felt bad for the guy that had to push them uphill, because I'm like, those poor guys are going to be so tired by the time they were done. Because like, when you walk up a hill like that, it's pretty. And it was pretty steep. It was pretty steep. But then you want to push someone in a wheelchair, like, So Jack ends up shaking till it finally falls over, which I don't understand how that would help the situation. You're still tied to the wheelchair, but I guess it kind of broke.
Well, he got some of it done, but that exchange with Lopan, we get more of the story about his demon and what he needs. He needs Mao Yin and all that stuff, and you start getting more of the story there.
Yeah. Oh, I think I missed. He beats him with the red ball. That's what I found the picture and I didn't save it. And then I couldn't find it again. Where he's just flying the red ball and just like.
Yeah, you find that he's been waiting 2,000 years to find her.
Yes.
So
And Jack does his quips and pretty much says, 2,000 years, you mean? I mean, I think 7 years has been pretty long for me. But 2,000, I think I'd find someone, right? um, so he ends up getting knocked over. He's able to get his knife. Again, they foreshadow a lot where, like, he carries that knife.
Yep, that knife's everywhere.
Yeah. And he pretty much says, "Oh, I can see light." He's obviously able to cut himself out, and then the fake Bolo Young ends up coming in here.
Thunder. Yep.
He's the fake Bolo Young, right?
you know his name's not Bolo, right?
I just know Bolo Young.
He renamed himself after Enter the Dragon, and called himself, his stage name is Bolo Young.
So what's his real name?
I don't remember.
I just remember being young, like a teenager, and starting to work out and just looking at his chest going, it's just not right.
Yeah.
It's huge, but it's not like developed like a bodybuilder's.
Right.
And he's big all around, but his chest is just gargantuous.
Yep.
But you know what? The purpose that he fit of fighting someone like Jean-Claude Van Damme, where he makes him look small.
Right.
And not that Jean-Claude is ever a huge guy. He's just a very muscular guy. But Bolo does an amazing job of making him look like a tiny human being. So Thunder comes in here. They kind of jump on him. And they're able to get away, but he starts to blow up.
Oh, wait. Whoa. Man, you skipped a lot. You skipped a lot of stuff.
Well, see, I told you got to lead this.
Yeah, they get drawn in there, and Thunder, haha, help you. He falls over. Thunder's given a tour. Eddie, let's see, where are we? Gracie goes up and down. Everyone, oh yeah, Gracie and gets in there and gets in the elevator, and they all get gassed.
Yes.
And then the Thunder is in a suit and orders soldiers around to take the prisoners. And then he falls over. They get out, and they get into an area with a whole bunch of skeletons.
Yeah, so I couldn't find any pictures of like them, Gracie, Maggie, and
Eddie
showing up there.
Yeah.
But they end up walking them, and you're right, and then they get gassed. So that's how they end up getting captured. And I got a lot to talk about that. Handsome, are you talking about Bolo Young? No, the guy in the suit, Thunder, he looks like a fake Bolo Young. That's why I kept looking at him going, at first I thought it was a Bolo Young, because he is big, but not nearly as big as Bolo.
No, not nearly, no.
Yeah, so I wasn't able to find any pictures like that.
And then Jack and Wang are out of their bonds talking, because Jack got him out of there. They're talking about which Lopan, the myth, the legend. Says, oh, then we go into the Asian speak, right? So he's like, I don't want to insult you. He says, nah, go ahead and insult me. It's all sorts of scary things, and he goes through the whole history of the 7 warring kingdoms and the deal that was done between the god of the East and the first emperor. They defeated Lopan, and how long ago it was. So they go into like the whole mystical history, and he's like, no horseshit, Wang. No horseshit, Jack. Hell, I'm Chinese, and I didn't believe it, but it's real. And it reminded me of the Force Awakens moment when Han Solo was saying, it's real, kid. It's all real.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Sorry, didn't mean to bring it back to that terrible movie, but, you know.
This is still better than The Force Awakens.
Oh, for sure.
And The Force Awakens is better than the other two movies. By far.
By far. By far.
Like I can watch The Force Awakens. The other two are awful.
Yeah, because there was no payoff from the setup that was done in The Force Awakens.
Although Rise of Skywalker did give me one thing that makes me laugh. And that is if you watch Screen Crush, when he just throws in, and sometimes and somehow Palpatine returned. Like,
and somehow.
He throws that in there, so, like, with Poe just saying it, and I'm like, it's just out of nowhere.
Man, that's a mess. That's all a mess. But they hear somebody coming, and they get back in their chairs, and then Jack's like, they're all ready in the chairs, like, oh crap, blindfolds, and they pull it down before Thunder comes back in, and that's when they ambush Thunder, and Jack fails again.
I feel like I would have just killed them. Like, they're obviously bad guys. They're not going to go to the house.
But they're the good guys. They can't just kill people. You know, they have to find what they're looking for.
Jack doesn't seem like he's that good of a guy. So he ends up rolling backwards.
Going all backwards, knocking down the goons that come out of the passageway. Just like he comically throws them back against the wall by running into them with a wheelchair. And, you know.
That is such an 80s trope there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's like, great wire work.
But then he stops it with his hands.
He stops the wheels right as he's going over the edge of the pit.
Yes, right before he goes over where Darth Maul went.
Well, he's in a wheelchair, so it's like he was cut in half, right?
Maybe that's what Darth Maul used to get out there. When the wheelchair fell down, he was like, "Oh, good, I need this."
That's it. That's how he got out. He solved the mystery of how he got out of there. Finally.
Everything.
But we set up the part when Jack gets thrown back in the wheelchair and everything. The Thunder was doing that expansion thing you were talking about. He's like blowing up like a balloon.
Yes.
Well, we'll see that later.
That part I'd seen before because it is so disgusting.
Oh, later on, that second one. Yeah.
So I forget how they found Eddie.
Okay, so right after he gets thrown down there, because he knocked those guys out. Once he gets out of the wheelchair, they come around a corner and they find Eddie, and Eddie's got the guns, and they start trading weapons.
Yes.
Because everybody picks up a weapon, and Jack gets the 6-shooter, and he gives it to Wang and takes the submachine gun, and Wang looks at the 6-shooter and gives it to Eddie and takes the shotgun. So everybody has a weapon that's appropriate for who their character is at the time, right? Jack Burton's the big tough guy, so he needs the big machine gun, and Wang is like the kung fu fighter, but he's still pretty good, so he's got to have the shotgun. And Eddie's the geek, so he gets the 6-shooter.
And I have to say this. So this is the first time that I can ever remember seeing that type of submachine gun not be a full-on automatic, never run out of bullets.
Oh, yeah.
It's fired as one shot, single shot.
Yep.
And I found that actually very interesting, especially for something in the 80s. Because you would have thought he would have just fired it, bullets would have never run out.
You know what? I love using that gun for my Firefly action figure.
Yeah.
So he uses that submachine gun.
So they end up getting this, faking it out, and this is how they break out the girls.
Yeah, and so right before they do that, old man Lopan's on the phone. No excuses. I smell human blood, or blood of human beings. Find them, boil them until their skin falls off. And then you see the awesome makeup with his glowing head and hand as it just goes into light.
Yeah, that was part of some stuff I didn't fully.
again,
Okay.
that's his transformation, right? Because he
Yes.
transforms into the spirit form after that, and he's got his pinky blade, his cocaine blade.
Two of them.
As he, right, yeah, as he
Two
gets up
nostrils.
yeah, one for each, and then he goes in and sees Miao Yang, and says talks about wanting to be flesh again because he can't touch her, and so we get to see that he's just an illusion, a spirit, a specter at this point.
So they end up going.
And yep, then we're here. Yeah.
Okay. So, now why they were so concerned about this guy, considering they didn't know who he was, and he didn't look like the rest of them. I didn't understand why they would care if he had a gun to him.
Yeah, no, there's no reason for any of that. It's like, wait a minute. And if you realize who everybody is in this, right? They're all women security.
Yes.
Keeping guard over the women prisoners as Jack's climbing on top, trying to figure out where everybody is. And there's so much innuendo in all of this, in all of the language. From this point forward, it's all innuendo. I'm just saying.
Yes. So here's the women. Okay. Again, makes no sense why it's just only women. I don't know why in the back there's a woman pinned up here too. Obviously, they're lesbians.
I mean, whatever, And these women beat the crap out of Wang and Wong, or Eddie and Wang.
Well, they fight them, but they pretty much dismantle the women pretty easily.
Eventually, but they beat them back for like 20 feet with those sticks.
Yeah. And then you see she's still writing. Like, she's still like, this is her story. She's probably gonna die, but she's gonna have the story.
And she's so overly dramatic as she's writing too. She's so, poised in her writing and trying to be dramatic, like Shatner or something.
So, and Jack's
and Gracie's sitting there, and Jack's on top.
Oh no, we're gonna address that in a second. So Jack's on top of everything. Now, why he can't see everyone from being on top? So then we get Gracie. Now, I just get this feeling like they're doing the movie, and Kim Cattrall was like, I should be hogtied and gagged. Well, you don't really need to be. No. I think it'd be good if I get hogtied and gagged. All right, if that's what you want. Okay, yeah, that works. Because why was she the only one thrown into bondage? Don't get me wrong, not arguing it.
So remember what Margot says. She may say it later, but in that moment, she's like, boy, she's a spitfire. So if you follow her character arc, she's always fighting everybody. And so she's flailing her elbows and hands around everywhere to hit anything and anyone in her way. So she's a whirling dervish. So if they think that she's going to be a problem, they're going to hogtie her.
Yeah. Again, I still think Kim Cattrall was like, hey, I need to be hogtied and gagged.
And gagged.
Listen, we've seen enough of the character she plays. I have a feeling in her personal life, this might be some of the things she might be into. All right, so they end up breaking them out. Then you have the bus that's waiting for them because security obviously did not notice the bus.
Oh, hold on. We got to set up other precedents here. So they're hauling ass, as he says. Wang, haul ass. And they jump in, and they get to the scene where they're all jumping in the water, and Jack puts the knife in his teeth, and they go through this. They go through the whole sewers.
Yes, I have that.
Yep, and it's like, where's so and so? Where's so and so? Where's so and so? Oh, they kiss. Oh, wait, why are you kissing me? Oh, that's later.
Yes, I must. So he was waiting for them.
Well, so they get out of the sewer and let's see.
Oh, you know what? I must have forgot to put. I forgot to put
Yeah,
stuff in
because
here.
he kisses her and says, "I'm sorry, I'm just happy to be alive." And then they're getting through the sewers, and he's like, "Stop rubbing up against me. It's hard to concentrate." And she's like,
Yeah.
"Shut up." They get back to the first elevator. This is where the saltwater thing comes back into play because Wang's talking about how they draw in the saltwater and distribute it through the building and all that stuff. And so they're right back where they started. And so he climbs up to be right back there at the beginning.
But the thing that I had was, they jump in the water. She does the whole thing. She keeps asking, and then Jack and her finally have their first kiss in sewer water.
Yeah.
Because what's more romantic than
Of
sewer
course.
water being hogtied?
Hey,
and here's the other thing.
He's just happy to be alive.
She runs all the way before they jump into the water, and she keeps the gag in. She has the gag when they get there, and then he finally takes it off her.
Yep.
Once again, saying like, she's like, no, I should keep it on a little bit longer. Can we have more scenes? We've seen her 3 nipples, right? I mean, this is a part again. I have a feeling that this is not the first time. Well, this may have been the first time, but I have a feeling in her personal life this may have happened.
As they get out, they rally up and they're like, okay, from here it's pretty normal. It's got offices and we're just gonna walk right through there. And
yes,
Jack's like, hey.
I want to address this. He climbs up to the top and he just lifts up the grate.
Yep.
Now, any of us as kids that have tried lifting up a grate,
those things weigh like 100 pounds.
Well, they weigh more than 100 pounds. Like, cars are driving over those things. And he just like, and I looked and I went, no, dude, he did not. Like, they're not meant to be lifted like that. But just one of those things that, like, that's the type of stuff that bothers me. Because I've mentioned before, like, anytime someone wants to move or there's something like, hey, you lift weights, why don't you come help me? Well, I don't lift weights to help you lift stuff. Right? I always laugh whenever I see something that's just like outrageously heavy or whatever. So,
right. All right. Now we're at Jack and he's saying, follow the leader. 1, 2, 3. And he opens the door and all the gang members standing there. So he closes the door and locks it. He says, we may be trapped.
Yes. And then says, they only saw me. Now they can't hear him. They didn't see anyone, right? Like, they couldn't see all the girls behind.
Yep.
But they all hide while him and Wang decide to fight them. And Wang pretty much just dismantles all of them.
Well, yeah, Wang's like, we fight together, Jack, do or die. He's pulling his little short round move there.
Again, I have not seen that movie, so I don't know.
You haven't seen Indiana Jones.
I do know who Short Round is. I only know who Short Round is because of you and mentioning that you need a short round to make your Hasbro, the Hasbro factory.
Make my Hasbro sweatshop, yeah. But yeah, so Wang's kung fu fighting everybody, and Jack's fumbling around. He goes down to get his knife, and his knife flies out of his hand and goes off screen, and so he has to go scrambling around for the knife. And while Wang's beating everybody up, Jack gets ready with the submachine gun and the knife, and he jumps out and goes, ha! And they're all defeated.
Again, as again, every 80s movie that we've ever seen. And let's just stop and say hi to Tony. He says, relax, I am here. That's great. Where's Travis at?
Yes, Eric. Punk has not seen any Indiana Jones movies.
Listen. It's not. I don't have a thing against them. It's just I've never watched them. It's never. Again, it's not even like a genre that I wouldn't want to watch. And then you get to the point where you're just like, yeah, I don't really want to sit down and watch it.
One of these days, I'm going to make you watch Raiders of the Lost Ark. If none of the others, that one.
Well, I mean, I'll have to watch all of them other than the one with Shyla.
I was going to say, you only need to watch 3 because there are only 3 Indiana Jones movies. No matter what anybody tells you. So it's time to go, and they're rushing out. They're trying to get to the bus, and then that's when we see the monster eyes that are looking through the wall, watching them. And as everybody's leaving, Gracie, for some reason, stops to stare at this door that's opening, like, "What's going on?" And gets grabbed by the monster.
Which
I mean, her acting is so bad in this movie.
Yes. And she like tries to fight the monster without really fighting it. Like, yeah, her acting is not. So here's a picture of the monster. Again, his eyes probably would not have fit so perfectly, but So they get to the bus, and they're all free, they think. They realize Gracie's not there.
And Miao Ying's still in there. The reason they went in, she's still there.
Come on. They saved all the other people they didn't know.
Yeah, fair. You know, they did a good thing.
And then the security guards now come out with their AK-47s, and there's like 5 of them. And obviously this bus is
bulletproof, man. It's got some heavy armor on that. I mean, armored windows, armored. I mean, that must be one heavy bus.
So once again, Kim Cattrall was like,
she's in chains.
Yes, she's like, well, all right. Do you have any chains? And they're like, yeah. Run to the sex shop and get some chains for her, all right? She's the only one that gets hogtied and is in chains.
Hey, it's like Scarlet from Silent Interlude. I'm just saying.
You know what? I never looked at it like that, but yeah, now.
Hey, remember later on the Payne brothers? I mean, that's how Snake Eyes got his version 3 outfit.
So she gets put in these chains. Lopan shows up. She tries to say she's up to here. She can't move her hands. After she says like
up to here. Oh look, you have green eyes and you're feisty. I will take you as a bride too.
Him making fun of her is absolutely awesome. Like so he's just like mocking her and that's got to be one of those parts where it's like total ad lib. There's no way like that was written in the script. You know?
Oh, I don't. Yeah, maybe not. I mean, James is a comedic actor by nature, so he's hilarious.
So he decides to take both of them, as their brides, which I don't blame him, to be honest. Although,
well, later on we find out that there's a very specific reason why he would take both of them.
Yeah, but still, just thought of having 2 wives.
Well, remember why he's going to kill one of them.
Yeah, I know. Again, why would you want one that's going to survive? It's like you're back in the same position. I just like this part. So this is when they get back, right?
Oh,
they're all still wet, and she's like, "I must be so monumentally naive." And
you are.
It was so subtle that it just cracked me up.
Well, I mean, it's a perfect line too, because I mean, in the 1980s, what does Caucasian culture know about Asian culture at all? And you think you're trying to help these people, and you're trying to be the Dudley Do Right and everything else, and it's actually a really brilliant line.
Yeah, like I said, it's so subtle, and it's something that 30, 40 years down the road, you go, that was just perfectly placed.
Yep.
So now this is where like there was some issues finding. Again, you start.
Oh yeah. That's a little bit later because we got Egg Shen gathering everybody up, rallying the troops, getting all of his geared up, and Jack's
Yep.
like, yeah, I guess we're ready. I mean, yeah, because of all the gear that he got on him, and Jack's questioning everything. Margot wants to go with him, and it's like, no, you got to stay with Eddie and Uncle Chen because Eddie's got a crush on you. What do you mean, like Gracie has like you have a crush on Gracie? Hey, look, I just want my truck back.
Which, in the end, that's technically all he wanted.
She's not even your type. All brains. And then this is where Gracie meets Miao Yin. Basically, she comes in and the levitating girl sitting out there in front of her.
Yeah.
And then Lo Pan comes in and he begins the ritual. So he starts talking and kind of talking to Gracie, but also talking to Miao Yin. So she initiates the response for the ritual.
But okay, so there was one part that didn't make any sense to me. And that is Gracie wakes up out of the trance.
Oh, that's later. Yeah.
Is that later?
Yeah, that's a lot later. I say a lot later. It's like 10 minutes later.
All right.
So because technically she hasn't been put in the trance just yet.
Okay.
But you're right. Because this is the part where she gets put in the trance. Because she meets Gracie and Lo Pan comes in, begins the ritual by speaking to Miao Yin. Miao Yin responds automatically, and Gracie's like, "What the hell's going on?" And then Lo Pan's talking about black magic, and the girl who can quench the burning blade. Innuendo. Okay. And then Chinese proverbs, and then basically he lights up, and basically he begins the trance on her. Then, so she's like zoned out. Then we go back to Egg Shen and his underground tunnels, and that's when you get that other scene with everybody in the elevator getting ready to go down, all geared up.
Yep.
And it's like, what are you afraid, Jack? And Jack's like, no, and walks off, clearly afraid.
So, okay, so, yeah, so before that, because I have it here, so they spent way too long showing the lampshade, fighting.
We haven't gotten there yet.
It's not how I have it in my notes.
Yeah, no. So
because it's intertwined.
Well, there is, but it begins in just a second because they go down into the tunnels and Jack's like, "Where the hell are we?" And somebody should have said the first level of hell, but they were talking about the underground tunnels.
The underground lifeblood of Earth.
Well, yeah, we haven't gotten there yet. We begin Thunder's demo, and the girls are in a trance watching this, and Thunder starts his demo. Then they go back to the tunnels, and that's when we get the that's not water. It's the black blood of the earth. Oil? No, the black blood of the earth. And then we get more mythology from Egg Shen. Then we come back to Thunder finishes the demo and puts the blades down. And the girls, forever. I mean, it's a martial arts demonstration. I mean, the guy's got muscles on him, and they want to show off his a little bit of his kung fu. And then Rain starts his demo with the swords. And then the girls grab the swords, one hand on a freaking blade, one hand on the handle, and then they all do their grunting pose and lift them up to the ceiling.
All right, so I have that.
Yep, but we have all that other stuff yet. Yeah, we're here.
Okay, so damn it. Oh, I thought I had it.
You've got the sword thing.
Yeah, but my issue with the sword thing was when he lifts him up, you can see how bad
Oh yeah.
Like,
That's no
it's
good.
not even their hands. It's just like this. Whatever they use to fudge it, so they're not actually grabbing it, and it looks
Yep.
so stupid.
Yep.
So I had to watch it 2 or 3 times to not laugh so hard.
Well, and then they touch the dome at the top, and Lopan says, "They have survived the burning blade and tamed the savage heart. They will both be my wives." And then a monster comes out. Then they're back to the sewers. The monster comes out, eats the dude. The Cthulhu monster just devours the guy, and Egg Shen throws a little smoke bomb at it, and it goes away.
And he says, "You won't come back," or something.
He won't come back. You just lost a dude. I mean, he ate one of your guys. Okay.
He's not even phased. Like, he's not even phased. Like,
Not at all. And then this is where Gracie snaps out of it, and lightning comes in, and then the guys end up in the fish in the Wing Kong storeroom.
Yes, which was really a disgusting part.
When the guy just bites the fish and want some?
I felt sick to my stomach watching that. I'm like, oh god. You know it was probably real.
Hey, who knows? Then we get more backstory. We start the ceremonies. Oh yeah, Egg Shen's talking about the ceremonies.
Yep.
And then we see the magic potion.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "What is that? A magic potion? Yeah. What do you do? Drink it? Yeah." And then we see the neon mall set where they come down the escalator, and you see all the neon stuff, and they start piling in for the ceremony. And the flying eyeball.
I want a studio with neon like that.
Yeah, that's sweet neon that they had going on there. Totally 80s, man. Talk about retro. Then we've got the flying eyeball that shows up, and they realize that Lopan's watching them with this great creature effect.
This is disgusting. Like, there are some real disgusting parts. The way, like, the tongue has a green eye on it.
Oh yeah.
And then he shoots
the eye of the beholder. Yeah, it's the eye of the beholder. It's a D&D type of thing, man. It's awesome.
He shoots it, and he's like, "You gotta try something, right?"
Yeah.
Like,
it runs off.
Screaming Skull Saloon, the beholder.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
It's when you when they create things like this, it is so much so much more disgusting and creepier than a digital makeup. You know how they do everything now. It's just because they had to make it like that wet and everything.
Yeah, you can't do stuff like that with digital. I mean, this is pure latex and putties and all kinds of stuff to get that real textured feeling.
So now they know Lopan has seen them.
Well, yeah, but they get into the his office area, and it's like, this must be a setup. It's too easy.
That's right.
And then they show everyone at the ceremony, so you see all the gang members from both sides, and all the monsters show up. The beholder shows up, and the other hairy monster shows up. And then this is where they go to the elevator, and it's potion time.
Yep.
And so they pass out the potion.
Their potion shots.
And then they talk about the 6 demon bag. He's like, "What's in the potion?" And he's trying to explain to him, "What kind of stuff is this?" And then everybody gives their toast. So they're doing that. It says the Army, Navy, and the battles that they've won, to America's colors, the colors that never run. And then they go to Jack, and Jack says, May the wings of liberty never lose a feather, and they all take their shot. Great lines. Those are amazing lines. I mean, those are G.I. Joe worthy lines.
Yes, yes. So they end up there, right? They get off
Everyone
the
starts
elevator.
buzzing and thinking they're invincible.
Yeah. And then the green eyeball ends up seeing them again.
Blows their cover.
Yep.
Well, and then we get a plot point right before that, and he's like, "Well, let's just shoot him." And he's like, "Don't shoot him until he's made flesh." So he has to marry the girls to become flesh. So we have to complete part of the ceremony before we can actually kill him. Then the eyeball spots him, and then mass chaos, the big fight scene.
So I guess if they killed him, they killed him. Does that mean the girls would inherit his fortune?
Well, probably they should, shouldn't they? But the fight scene starts with they kill the beholder, and Jack gets ready to go, and he fires his gun into the ceiling and gets knocked out by the falling debris.
But here's the beholder. He just stabs him, you know.
Yep.
This looks like a mad ball.
It does.
Just with more eyes. Like, especially this one, mad balls were all like soft and everything. He's literally passed out on the floor. He's already made his, well, actually we haven't shown him yet, but
and then Rain goes after Wang, and Thunder comes after Jack, and Egg shaves Jack by throwing stuff at him. Lopan begins becoming flesh, so he started the inserting the needle process into the girls and starts becoming flesh.
Yeah. Now, I wasn't able to find much in the fight scenes.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why, because I was able to find the other ones. But all of a sudden, you know, Wayne becomes this Olympic gymnast.
Flip, 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 fly, fly, ha!
And you're a martial artist. You know that the best way to do martial artists is to do 10 back handsprings in a row.
Right. And fly through the air. That's right. I mean, you got to fly through the air.
They sword fight while flying in the air.
Yep, that happens a little bit. That's awesome.
But you realize that to say what a badass Wang is.
Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah. He's taking on everybody, and you see that he's taking on everybody. And Jack's doing stupid stuff, like he sees one of the guards coming at him, and he shoves his boot knife out and stabs him. But then he gets stuck in the position with the guard on top of him, and he can't do anything for, in Dungeons and Dragons terms, like 3 turns.
Why he just couldn't like shift him to one side, I couldn't figure out.
Just tossed him over. Yeah, no. Jack's not very bright.
Okay. We have established that he's not that bright.
And then we get the aerial fight scenes flying through, going ching, 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 ching with their swords while they're flying through the air.
Which I gotta say, the fight scenes in this they're very, very well done.
Yeah,
like,
they're shot very well, for sure.
And using like weird weapons and stuff, especially that first fight scene where they're just using all kinds of weapons for no apparent reason. Why they were all carrying swords or guns, I don't understand.
Well, you know, weapons, swords are more personable, right?
Yeah, but they're like meat cleavers.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, you got to take what's available, right? And then we get Egg versus Lopan, the video game fight.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. That was really bad.
They blast each other with their energy and do their video game fight.
Did that happen in The Last Jedi? Is that what it was? Where Luke projects himself to fight Kylo Ren?
Ooh, you missed me. You missed me, but I'm not really here.
I hate those movies so much.
Me too. They're terrible.
I gotta say though, Gracie looks hot like this.
Not bad.
I mean, I'm not kicking her out of bed.
Wang finally kills Rain,
Yep.
and then Gracie finally finds Jack. Yeah, and that's where they get in the elevator and get their kiss, and Jack gets the lipstick. Oh wait, no, that happens. The monster grabs Jack, and then Gracie kicks the monster in the balls to save Jack.
Yes.
And then they have the elevator kiss.
And
jumping ahead.
Oh, you know what? I gotta find a better way to add these things because I have pictures of him like talking with the lipstick on.
That's awesome.
It's like, how many takes did it take? Because there's no way you could have looked at him trying to be serious, going like, dude.
From the way they filmed it, I would imagine that there was nobody else in the room. That he was monologuing when he was giving his machismo speech, lipstick on. Because I cannot imagine anybody on the other side not laughing their asses off at seeing that.
Because it's just like it was so good. Like, I mean, but he was like so confident after that.
Oh yeah, I mean, he was like, I got this. I'm making my big tough man speech wearing lipstick. And then we have this wonderful moment. Jack takes his knife out and he throws it at Lopan to try and hit him.
Yeah.
And it misses. It hits the gong.
And again,
and Jack fails again.
And I think for this day and age, we would know he's going to throw that back at him and he's going to grab it and throw it back. And we knew, but I don't think back then it was that obvious.
We only know that now because of this movie. This movie helped create tropes like that because he picks it up, throws it back, and then boom, boom, throws it back and kills him. Everything starts collapsing, and it's all in the reflexes.
Which I'm trying to remember when this part was, but you end up having Thunder. So there he gets hit.
Oh, so that happens right after that.
Yeah.
So he dies. They go and they're trying to get out, and then Thunder gets in their way, and they start running away from Thunder, and then Thunder sees Lopan dead, and so he starts blowing up, and he explodes in grief.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Thunder had more of a.
He had a serious man crush on Lopan.
Yes. I think that's the best way to put it. But when he explodes, it is absolutely disgusting. And you don't even see him explode. You just see everything that comes out of him.
Well, so they did a really good job of setting it all up, right? You don't have to show everything, but they showed him blowing up like balloons, like he's swelling massively in his face, his hands, his feet, his uniform's exploding. Everybody runs out and around the corner, and then all of his guts.
But then, do they ever explain why he blows up?
No,
because he starts doing it. You know, when they're in the wheelchairs there. But what was the purpose?
It was probably a defense mechanism, right? He's like, oh, get real big, and he knock off the guy, distract him. But in this case, it was clearly grief.
Yes, his man crush. He was
totally man crushing.
So this is when everything starts like collapsing.
Yep, they're running out of there, and then so Rain was killed by Wang. Thunder exploded himself, so we still have Lightning to deal with, and they're running through everything, and then they start climbing through the tunnels, right? And then Jack's the last one up, and he climbs up, and then they get to the next level, and then Egg's above him, and he's got a grappling hook that he can shoot down with his crossbow, this Scarlet's crossbow. And then everybody just kind of zips up the line.
Well, they just hold it like there's no weight to it.
Yep. Oh yeah,
This
no
is-
weight at all. And then when Lightning shows up, like does this whole big, dramatic thing, and he's going like this instead of fighting them while they're getting away. He's just doing his little dance moves and shooting lightning, and they're all going up the tunnel.
They
And
did that a couple times in this, where they do like
yeah.
their dancing, and it's like you could have ended this a long time ago.
Right, yep, could have been over. But then he follows after Jack, and then on the second level, when everybody goes up, Wang is the last one to go up. And before Wang can get up, there's lightning in his face, and Egg is like, "Hey, let's get this," and he just drops a freaking statue on his head,
Which I thought was awesome. That was awesome. That was just like perfect. And then Jack is just holding the crossbow, and he just comes
Zip.
right up.
right up. Yeah, nobody weighs anything when you're on the zip line. I mean, it's a fact. It's a fact.
Unless you're Batman with Vicky Vale.
Well, only because Vicky Vale lied about her weight.
See, women, don't ever lie about your weight. You may not be able to be saved.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Batman's only got so much tension on that thing. They find the truck, and they all pile into the truck, and they're driving down, and they're out. They're done with it. They're all good. When Jack starts up the truck, and Gracie goes, "What's that?" That's a 6.9 on the Richter scale.
Well, no, first he says something about the keys.
Oh yeah. Well, they took the keys. Well, don't you have a spare? Well, of course I have a spare. It's under the seat. Oh yeah.
Who doesn't keep their spare keys underneath it?
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean,
I-
everybody's got fobs on their keys, right? So you just leave your fobs in the car so anybody can get in your car, right?
I like that. Screaming Skull Saloon. I probably played Double Dragon for 3 straight days after I watched this for the first time.
Love Double Dragon. That's one of my favorite arcade games.
It was
ever.
a lot of fun. Almost as good as Kung Fu.
Well, that was the favorite one to take home on the Nintendo. I love that one on the Nintendo.
So they get back to the place.
We get to celebrate,
Yep.
and then
Oh.
then Egg leaves.
Yeah. Not gonna go to China because that's already in him.
China's in the heart, Jack. China's in the heart.
Yes. Morgul pretty much asked Eddie to come over and find the title in her.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and play doctor. Yeah.
Ooh.
And then Jack gets paid.
Dan, I gotta say this. Ninja Gaiden, in my opinion, is more of a real game.
That game is hard as
Yes.
any game I've ever played, man. That game's impossible.
No, Solomon's Key is the hardest game ever.
Solomon's Key is a good one too.
You
Ninja
get to a
Gaiden,
certain
man.
point and don't get us started because we won't.
No, yeah. Shinobi. I love Shinobi too, but Ninja Gaiden was the bomb, man.
All right, listen.
And then
We're not talking video games.
all right. Jack gets paid. And Wang hands him the check and says triple or nothing. And Jack's like, double or nothing. And he says, no, triple or nothing. You earned it. And he said, I did.
And then when he goes to leave, she's like, "Aren't
Margot, yeah.
Margot's like, aren't you going to give her a kiss?" And he says, "No." Like,
no. Well, so I love the conversation that he had with Gracie right before that. And it's like we could get one of those, trucks with a little apartment on the back and just drive around. He said, that sounds real nice. But I rub everybody wrong sooner or later. Showing how much of a jerk he is, how much of a Star-Lord he is.
but he must have banged her already, right? This has to be the next day.
I'm sure as soon as they got back, before they got all cleaned up for the party, they definitely They definitely did it.
It is
And then
Kim
they went to the
Cattrall.
park.
They may have been doing it while driving home, while everyone is sitting there going, we're all here.
Hey, who knows? You're gonna kiss her goodbye? Nope. And then Jack is riding down the road telling his story on his 1982 YouTube channel called a CB Radio as he's drinking his bottle of whiskey. And what do we see in the back seat or on the back of the truck? There he is.
Which, again, I don't understand the monster. I didn't understand the purpose of the monster.
So there's a comic book that was written a few years ago that picks up right where that ends.
All
and
right, okay.
And it continues the story. And basically, he's a creature from hell that was serving Lopan because he was forced to. But once Jack defeated Lopan, Jack became the one that he served. So he had to follow Jack around and serve Jack, but he's a demon from hell hanging on the back of his truck. And then there's a whole other comic that goes into Jack Plissken meets Jack Burton, or Snake Plissken meets Jack Burton. So there's a whole crossover comic where his two most iconic characters come together and tell a story.
Wow.
It's awesome. I loved it.
That is, damn. That is entertaining. Well, I guess, again, that's the breakdown of Big Trouble in Little China, which I had never seen before. I thought I had seen it. Like, I'm really shocked that I had never seen it. And it's one of those ones where I truly, I got it mixed up with Showdown in Little Tokyo. Because seriously,
I love that one too. But eating sushi off of naked women, not that hygienic if you think about it. But anyway,
maybe back. I think some of the other unhygienic things I may have done with women, it's probably not that bad.
I love this movie. My wife loves this movie. I love just about everything that Kurt Russell is in. He's a great human being. I like all the movies that he's done. He tries to stay out of other nonsense. I like him as Santa Claus. I like him in The Thing. I like him in Escape from New York. All the movies he's done has been really fun and entertaining. And he's an old school Disney kid. He's a Mouseketeer from back in the day.
Oh, really? I like him in Overboard.
Yeah, Overboard. I mean, and that's his wife, like legit.
Yep.
They're still married, and they made the Santa Claus movie. The Netflix, they made 2 Santa Claus movies where he plays Santa Claus, and at the end of it, you see Goldie Hawn comes on as Mrs. Claus.
I've never seen them.
They're fun. They came out 2019, 2021.
Okay.
Something like that. But there's 2 movies on Netflix that are that, and those are cool. But this movie is so much the quick-witted dialogue, the action scenes, how the fact that Jack Burton, this is probably one of the first times that we see a hero that is the bumbling fool through the whole thing and fails at just about everything he does and still is named the hero.
Yeah, and in actuality, Wang was more of a hero than Jack.
Absolutely.
I don't even think it's like kind of. It's
nope.
Yeah. Yeah, and PNC is right. They never actually got married. That's actually how my ex and I were.
Yeah.
It made things a lot easier when she left me. Made the custody a lot harder. I didn't lose anything of mine because we were never married. But we have a little bit of time left here. Talk about movies that we want to look at. And Anthony, are you throwing this movie out? Because I got a lot to say about this movie.
Which one?
Tombstone.
Oh, I love that.
So I don't know if you're throwing this. I saw Tombstone. We all saw Tombstone at the movie theater, and I hated it.
Oh.
And then I watched it later on, and I went, "What the hell was I thinking? This movie is awesome." So let's throw out some movies. Anthony's throwing out Tombstone, which I love. So that one
that's
one
an
has so many
amazing
good
movie.
lines in it.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah. And again, I guess we're going to continue to follow lines of movies that we just watched with someone in it.
Yeah.
We can't do Pee Wee again. We threw in Pee Wee last time, so we got to pick a different one. We got to give a little bit of time. I'm going to throw in Young Guns 2.
Oh, yes. 2?
Young Guns 2 is better than 1.
I agree with you. I think I agree with you on that one. I think they found a formula there. There's something really special about those movies. Ah, man, I'm all in.
Archibald
That one
Dave,
too.
man.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh man.
And I don't think you need to see. I don't think you need to see Young Guns to really see Young Guns 2.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think Young Gun, like when I go back and I watch Young Guns, it seems more like a real movie. Young Guns 2 is kind of like more of a fun movie in some ways.
Yeah.
But when not Lou Gossett Jr., Lou Diamond Phillips gets the knife and he pulls that thing out like,
yep.
You're like, you're a badass.
Always love that dude. That dude's awesome in just about everything he does. I loved him in
Enemy Mine. Okay.
Long way. Enemy Mine. Another great one.
I feel like I've seen that. Yeah, Kurt was in Stargate. Do you want to throw that one out there? Like we're gonna vote on it. So we got Stargate. So
Kurt Russell, another Kurt Russell. Escape from New York. I love it. Eric, of course you got to see that one. Enemy Mine is a badass movie. Anthony Romo wants to know if we're including anime on these things.
Well, he already picked Tombstone, so he's out.
Yep.
You could pick it. We could. I mean, I don't see why not. I was actually going to throw out Heavy Metal, but then I threw out Tombstone.
Heavy Metal's not anime. That's American animation for the most part. French and American animation.
That's animation. I mean,
yeah.
That's like saying this isn't a toy because it's not. Just not an import.
No PNC. We're not watching Surf Ninjas.
No. And
now Ninja Scroll, on the other hand, Anthony Romo, that would be awesome, especially if you wanted to promote Foosh Toys because they've got that license to produce Ninja Scroll toys coming up.
So I have to say. So I gotta say. So it's your call now because you're the only one that hasn't picked one, Matt.
Oh.
So we got Tombstone, Young Guns 2, Enemy Mine, Stargate.
Those are all awesome. I got to throw out something that I've been thinking about for a little bit, and since we talked Pee Wee Herman last time, I got to say Flight of the Navigator.
What?
Flight of the Navigator.
I don't even know if I've heard of that.
It is a Disney movie where a kid is chasing his brother and falls down a pit, gets picked up by an alien spaceship, gets transported 15 years to 20 years in the future or something like that, and comes back and finds the whole world's a different place because now he's in the 80s and finds the spaceship and has to find a way to get back home. And the voice of the spaceship navigator, or the voice inside the spaceship, is Pee Wee Herman. It was not credited as Paul Rubens, but it was clearly the voice that he later used to be Pee Wee Herman. And it was an 80s Disney movie that had the first CGI effect in any movie, and it was really well done.
Wow. All right, so we got our 5. PNC, keep that one for that one. I want to hopefully get to. So we have Tombstone, Young Guns 2, Enemy Mine, Stargate, and Flight of the Navigator. I do want to. So you mentioned Escape from New York, and then there's Escape from LA. Which one was the second one?
Escape from LA was the second one. That's when he's surfboarding. surfing through LA on the board, and Steve Buscemi's in it in the convertible. Yeah,
I will veto Escape from LA because this is the only movie I have ever walked out on, and it wasn't just me; it was all of my friends. I would have walked out on Batman and Robin with Arnold, except we were with people that we didn't know. That would have been the other one I would have walked out on. Escape from LA is the only movie that we've ever walked out on because it was so awful.
I
can't do
almost
anything
walked
about
out
it.
on that one too. That I was expecting Escape from New York, and I saw Escape from LA, and I was like, "What the hell is this bullshit?"
Yeah.
I've never walked out on a movie, but A Thin Red Line and Escape from LA are the two closest things that I've ever almost walked out on a movie for.
Thin Red Line was not what I was expecting.
You know what? I've heard a lot of treatise of it, and maybe it's better than I remember. But I remember watching it in the movie theater and saying this was the worst. It's a cinematically beautiful movie. Story-wise, the movie was total shit, and I didn't agree with any of it. But maybe I'd be in a different place now. But I don't know. You'd have to convince me pretty hard.
And that's true. Like you find these movies that you go back and you watch, and you're like, you know what? It really wasn't that bad, or you see it in a different light. But like I said. Ooh, Cloak and Dagger. That was. I remember liking that movie a lot. But yeah, when you can sit there and say you walked out of one movie. Yeah. Now, if you said, "Hey, you know what? Let's watch Batman and Robin," one I would have walked out on. There's enough dumb stuff in that you can.
Yeah.
Escape from LA, I just remember being awful, just awful.
Anthony, let's get back to closer to Halloween for that one. American Werewolf in London is one of my favorite movies. I also don't mind American Werewolf in Paris, but American Werewolf in London is one of the best cinematic effects. I've got that Kessler Wolf in my action figure collection. I really love that movie.
I have never seen American Werewolf in London. But if I am correct, the lead actor of American Werewolf in London, who is also a singer, right?
I don't know.
He did like Dr. Pepper commercials. I'm gonna pull it up really quick here. Oops. I think it is. Hopefully it doesn't freeze everything.
Detroit Rock City.
No, it wasn't even filmed here.
Well, I'm just saying he was in that. I'm just saying he was in that. He's done not a lot of anything that I've ever seen. He had some voice acting work in the 2000s on Justice League.
Okay, no, see, there's another werewolf movie, and yeah, so yeah, he's in Midnight Madness. He's the lead in Midnight Madness, which is again a movie that I would say we are going to watch, except for I don't think people can find it.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Disney doesn't even have it. It's Michael J. Fox's first movie where he's Michael Fox. Pee-wee Herman is in it.
Yep.
This guy,
Stephen First is in that movie. I forgot Stephen First was in that too. I love that dude.
This guy he had a hit.
Eddie Dresden. Yeah, we do need to watch that one. Midnight Madness.
If we can find it, like it is so good. Like it is a movie I hated because my sister watched it so much, and then when we started watching it, we saw how good it was. Salvation Army. Well, maybe your Salvation Army has it for VHS, but not all of them.
Anthony,
they all
go
the same thing.
We got to get to some of them.
And I don't have a VHS player anymore, so those things are long gone.
I don't think my VHS player works anymore.
All right, so we come to the end here. Like I said, I do want to mention next week is a very busy week for me on YouTube. So Sunday morning, I'm going to be on, Sunday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's Frostbite's repos. You can find them on my, and I'll be pushing it out once they send it to me. So if you're not up, that's cool. Just check it out. They're in Australia, so it's prime time on Sunday for them. Obviously Monday, but next Thursday, I'm going to start doing a second show. It's going to be opposite this, 10 to 12, and it's just going to be, I'm going to be picking someone from the chat, from Instagram, someone else that's on YouTube, and just getting to know them. Because I want to give back to the community. I know for me, when I'm in other chats, I want to know about some of the people that I'm actually talking to. So that's what we're going to try and do. It's not just picking up, a Bobby Vella or a Brian Flynn, two people that will probably never be on my show. But I want it to be somebody that's in the chat, someone that's commenting on Instagram, that someone you may be like, hey, what about them? Because I had no idea that Matthew had an Instagram page that was over 1,000, has over 1,000 subscribers and shit. So, and then on Friday, I'm going to be on with Payne's Toy Samples at 9:35. So it's going to be a very, very busy week for me. So anyway, I just want to kind of mention about next Thursday. And the other thing that we're going to be doing, so if you have not subscribed to Punks on Films, go over there, hit the subscribe button, because we're going to try and we're going to try not to simulcast anymore on Punk with Toys, because I want to get that one to grow over there. We'll see how it works. We had 15 people in here, so better than normal, and then we'll see how everyone is, see how it gets on the replay. So that's it.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks everybody for coming. We had a great time tonight. Where a Punk on Toys is, a Punk on Films is right here. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Mamu's Action Figure Blog and check out some of the photos and stuff that I've been doing. I would appreciate it. And you guys have a great night.